Zia had a sale where they were doing 50% off of any TV stuff, like no limitations of any kind.
Ooh.
I went and pillaged some stuff. Dude, they had the entire Twilight Zone television series used, which is normally like $150. They had it on sale for $60 used, and got it for like $30.
Cool.
It was amazing.
And I forgot to tweet it here. There we go. News with booze. Now. There we go. All right. So, here we go.
Are we live already?
We are. Oh, yeah, we were going. Hey, everyone. I'm Cecil Laird.
And I'm Jaime Fuego.
And this is the Horror Show News with booze once again.
Yes, a little late today.
A little late. Fuego, move to your right.
Yep,
Get closer.
Moving to my right.
Guys, we're going to do this a little bit different. Last week we did the boozeless news, and we didn't do it live. We stuck to the stories, and we realized that there are a lot of people that actually do come to get the horror news from us.
Yeah.
And when we do it, yeah, exactly. When we do it live, I tend to meander and check the comments all the time, and that frustrates some people. So what we're going to try and do this week is just plow through the stories with our own opinions and stuff, and then at the end, we will turn towards the comments, and anyone that doesn't want to hear that can move along, and they'll still get their horror stuff.
Move along, sir. Move along.
Yes, but...
No, and honestly, on that note, man, I think maybe that will be good because we can plow through all of our opinions, and then at the end, we'll say to you guys, please stick around. Which news stories do you want to ask us which aspects about? As opposed to breaks in between, we feel like maybe it effed with the flow just a little bit, yo.
Yeah,
so yeah.
Exactly. But the first thing before we jump into the stories that I do want to address you guys, I was thinking about making a longer video, but I think the best thing is just to say that Brittany Lee will no longer be a part of the channel. For anyone that cares, that follows us, some stuff has happened, and she is no longer on the channel. So,
but luckily, our sisters in horror,
are
back with us,
exactly,
right in the nick of time, which is great.
Exactly, just as one exits, two return,
and the veterans we love so much.
Exactly, Marsha Parker and Susie Von Slaughter are back. So yes, that is the situation, but without further ado, Fuego, let's jump into that big bad first story, which I will pull up the picture of
because that's our new thing. That's our new thing that we're gonna do, y'all.
We are, guys. We're going to go ahead and do what we should be doing the whole time.
But I mean, it was a little bit of an aspect of trying to figure out how to incorporate that with all the the OBS and all that other stuff. But long story short. Even though I still want Bryce Dallas Howard. Sorry, y'all.
Nope,
that is
you're wrong.
Still my pick.
Nope.
But she's a friend. She's actually a friend of Andy Muschietti and his sister, who are the producing team behind both Mama and the new It film, which crushed records and did so amazingly at the box office. But Jessica Chastain, who is I didn't realize she was a 2-time Oscar-nominated actress for The Help and for Zero Dark 30, both as a supporting and as a regular actress.
She didn't get nominated for The Hurt Locker? That's where she really broke out, as far as I knew.
Was she in that too?
The Hurt Locker? Yeah.
Really? I've never seen The Hurt Locker. I know that's I know that's another Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah, exactly. That's what really put Catherine Bigelow, that really put her in the Oscar talks and stuff like that.
I actually really like Chastain in Take Shelter with Michael Shannon. I thought that was a really good movie too.
I liked her in Mama.
Mama, she was great, and that was a movie that I still feel like we should do a retro review of. Because I really
absolutely. I've been meaning to rewatch it. Actually, I only watched it once in the theater, and I loved it.
Damn good.
Loved it.
And Andy had such an eye, and that's like a cliched phrase, but seriously, the camera movement, the color correction, all these things are obviously him collaborating with other people. But the look of Mama was incredible. I absolutely loved it. I'm fine if it ends up being Chastain. Totally cool with that. The fact that she is the first person to be in discussions for this makes sense, because for me, if you watched my Hail to Stephen King Greatest Heroes Countdown, I consider Beverly one of the top 3 heroes in all of Stephen King mythology.
Wow.
All of Stephen King lore.
That's big talk.
I put her up there with the big boys, dude, and especially
Danny?
One of my big problems.
Danny Torrance?
Torrance,
he not one of the big boys?
No.
What are the other? I'm dying to know. What are your other 2 big boys? Have you done this?
It shows.
Have you done this on Hail to Stephen King?
Oh yeah, it shows Cecil doesn't watch the videos.
I'm busy putting together the other 12 episodes of the week.
Exactly.
God damn it.
So whereas I'm like 5 to 10% Cecil.
So tell me, what are your top 3 then?
My top 3 were Roland Deschain, Beverly.
Roland Deschain, of course.
Yeah, of course, dude. Because
Beverly and...
Oh, man, I'm trying to remember what the 3 was. Was it Larry Underwood? No, it wasn't Larry Underwood. I would have to double check, but bottom line, all that I'm saying, y'all, is that I put Beverly Marsh in there, and the one thing, I know we all loved the It remake, or reinterpretation, a new interpretation of it.
Sometimes I worry about you, baby.
I know you do.
Sometimes I worry a lot.
I know you worry.
They're always so breathy when they say that. Sometimes I worry a lot.
And you can just hear it, and it makes the audience feel as gross as possible. But the thing is, man, is that I didn't like how they made her a damsel in distress in the new film. That was my one big thing that I felt went against type.
So she doesn't get caught by Pennywise in the book?
Not as a youth.
Not as a Ute.
A youth.
The 2 Utes. Sorry.
No. When
flashback to
when she was a kid,
Joe Pesci early on.
Sorry. There you go. No, but as all of you who have read the book or watched the miniseries, which was faithful to that, Beverly did not get captured by Pennywise and then the boys all had to go rescue her. That did not happen. And for me, that went so against her character of strength and just awesomeness. And
what happens
she
after...
was one of the boys and everything.
So Pennywise doesn't come back and take her?
No.
Okay.
That does not happen in the book or the miniseries. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the miniseries can suck my left nut, so...
That's not very fair. But
I love Tim Curry, but after watching Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise... Tim Curry's Pennywise is just a fucking joke.
Your impression has changed.
It's just a fucking joke.
Oh.
I've watched people do reviews and they play clips of Curry as Pennywise where he's like, "Kiss me, fat boy."
It still works for me, though.
It's like that's not scary. That's not.
It's more of like a maniacal, silly, scary to me, which is what I think an evil clown would be.
By the way, I apparently have a Tim Curry Pennywise.
I
did not realize
that was actually quite good. But just to wrap this story up, so Chastain is the first to be in talks, according to Deadline, to be joining the cast of the September 6th, 2019. So just about a year and a half away, we are going to be seeing Chapter 2.
No, a year and a half they're saying already, and they haven't even finished casting? As a behind-the-scenes person, that's scary.
Well, that was the date that they announced last year, remember? After all the success, they gave themselves 2 years.
Yeah, but without even having finished casting, let alone shooting or the visual effects afterwards, that's...
No, casting for the next movie. Casting for Chapter 2.
You're saying the Chapter 2 is going to be ready in a year and a half?
That's what they're saying.
I'm saying they haven't even finished casting for Chapter 2.
There's actually
a year and a half is not a long time to put together a film of that size.
There's been no official casting.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what worries me.
There's actually a lot of worry about, just to go with your theme, man, there's a lot of worry about It Chapter 2 because of the fact that a lot of people think that the endearing aspect and the reason it crushed so hard was because of the kids.
Yeah.
And that's why they're bringing in the kids. And, and they're only going to be in flashback aspects. But John Schnepp said something very interesting on Movie Talk last week on Collider, because you guys know how much I respect his opinion. He was like, I do not want them to have too much, a little bit. I've interviewed him twice. He's a great guy. He's a really great guy. No, but, Schnepp raised a good point, though, dude. He was like, I don't think in this movie they need to overdo the kids. It's really going to undersell if they get good talent for the adults. And that's the one thing people are wondering. Are they going to go high caliber with the adults? Are they going to go unknown?
The adults were absolutely the weak point of the miniseries.
And yet they are such an amazing point of the story and the source text, which is what's so infuriating about...
They're going to have to be very careful
in
about
some
who
ways.
they choose.
In some ways, if I'm going to make a bold declaration, I do not think Lightning is going to strike twice. I do not think it's going to make quite as much money, and I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as well reviewed.
No.
You don't think it's going to be as well?
I don't think it'll be as well reviewed. However, I do believe that it's going to attract more talent than we think, because look how big the first it's now the biggest horror movie that's ever been made.
Even beyond the
biggest horror movie that's ever been made.
But I did a video about the casting.
What actor that they approach is going to say no to being in the sequel to the biggest horror movie that's ever been made?
Ever? Forever?
Seriously, what actor is going to say no to that? They could approach fucking Brad fucking Pitt to be Bill. and he would fucking do it. He's too old now. But I'm saying you could get that level talent with it chapter 2, because you're not just asking them to be in a horror movie. Yeah. You're asking them to be in the sequel to the biggest horror movie of all time. The biggest horror movie. Like, that's crazy.
Just like we are the horror show, this is the biggest...
the most prolific horror channel on YouTube.
Yeah, I know. We love you guys. But, yeah, you know, I'm honestly more so than anything else.
We've been talking about this first story for a while.
I know we have, because it's obviously the biggest story, and it's the one that people are most
concerned about.
I like our
pictures we picked out, too.
Yeah. I'm just glad...
Production value.
I'm just glad that Amy Adams isn't presumably not in the discussions anymore. She was a little older. I love her as an actress, but I just didn't think that she fit this role in comparison with the brashness I felt from Chastain and Mama, and also the snippy bitchiness of Bryce Dallas and Jurassic World. And I mean, she was great in The Village in a more stoic role, and so I'm cool with that. The next one I will plow through because of the fact that it's a very slim bit of information. However, it gives me hope because
I don't know. Is that plowing? I don't know. What would plowing be?
Call Mr. Plow. That's his name. His name again
is Mr. Plow.
Yeah. The Dark Tower has apparently found a home, which was buried in a Deadline press release analyzation just this past week. So everybody was wondering...
The scrap heap?
Maybe.
Is that its home? If the fucking movie is any indication, that's where it belongs.
Well, that's why I'm excited, because there's a completely different team involved with the television series. Completely different, including showrunner Glenn Mazzara, who comes from The Walking Dead.
Okay.
He would be the showrunner of
this. And it's been officially acquired? So has it been ordered, or is just the pilot?
That's the problem with Amazon, as I gave further analysis to it, because if Hulu or Netflix acquires a property, you know that they are going to put it out there. But Amazon has that strange process where they do a pilot and then they let people vote and all these different things. It makes me wonder, with all this slew of new projects that they have going down, man.
I got to remember my job. Yeah. It's the news with booze. Now I got to change pictures and shit. Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
No, you're fine. But, Amazon is essentially developing a new Lord of the Rings television series, and I guess they thought this was in line enough, and it is in concepts a lot. I mean, we are essentially taking mobster stuff, we're taking Lord of the Rings, we're taking The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, we're taking some horror aspects and fusing them all together for The Dark Tower. I hated the movie. I absolutely despised it.
It was horrible. It was an awful movie.
It was so bad. And after all the preparation I did that year too, reviewing every book month by month. And...
Hey, but you know what? We're still, literally, did you see the comment from the person that came up? He literally went to, the first review and is like, okay, I saw you were doing these, and I've wanted to watch them since you began them, but I wanted to read the books first. I've just finished reading the books, now I'm going to watch your reviews. And I'm like,
so happy, and that's
awesome. That's impact, dude.
Well, that sort of evergreen content is what I love about Stephen King, is because the predominance of his stuff is backtracking and looking, backwards, and which is fine. He's one of the most prolific horror writers out there, along with Kuntz and other peeps. I'm not a big Kuntz guy though, but long story short,
Kuntz guy either.
Kuntz guy, but yeah, I'm happy to see this potentially landing at Amazon. Is what it really boils down to, and I just didn't want to see it at a TNT or a USA Network or a Sci-Fi or something like that. I felt like it needed to be either HBO, Showtime, or a streaming service, and so provided they do pick it up and continue the developmental process, I have high hopes for what they could do with going young Roland, which you are familiar more so than any Roland with young Roland.
I really like the Marvel comics that were written by Peter David.
That's what they're supposed to be adapting, is that.
See, that's cool. I'm about that. I'm about that. I will absolutely watch the shit out of that. However,
the big coffin killers.
Here's the thing. So, are we going to get this prequel series, and then it's going to do well enough that they're going to be like, okay, maybe now you get the reins to do the movies?
That's what just frightens me, because I don't want another movie in the vein of what they did.
Well, no, but clearly, if it's the people that are, if it's a completely different team that are going to do justice by the prequels, if they do justice by the prequels, why would they not give them the reins to then move on to do the movies?
I just don't know if they would give them the reins.
Well, why wouldn't they if they did a... I'm saying, if it's a successful prequel series and they got through... Because, look, every season, it would probably be like... if they're smart, they're going to do 6-episode seasons like the BBC. Yeah. They'll do, the first book...
Amazon does typically 8 to 10, right?
Okay, all right. Yeah. Well, that's fine. They could still do that. Yeah. So they could make a few, like 5 solid series from each of, one of the 5 prequel books. Each gets their own season.
I still think they
can then move into each book getting their own season, though. That's what I'm saying.
Well, there's only
then you allow the people that make the Let me finish what I'm saying.
Sorry.
Can
I finish? Okay,
can I finish? Can I finish?
Okay.
I know people usually come down on me. No, but what I'm saying is, if this team proves that they can make a season per graphic novel, then why wouldn't they be able to make a season per book? And then the season length can vary based on the necessities of said book.
This is where the tough thing is employed, is the fact that there's only 2, well, technically 3 books, I guess, that have young Roland flashback stuff.
Okay. There's
only 3 of the 8 books. And so I personally think that there is enough richness in the Wizard and Glass storytelling with his love story with, Suzanne and stuff like that, and, the big coffin killers and everything that goes on with that. They could easily drag that into 2 10-episode series. Maybe the initial one is when they first get there, or maybe it's a little bit combination of the gunslinger with Wizard and Glass, where just like they did with the comic book, you see his training. He gets his guns from court and stuff, beats him with the hawk and all that stuff, and they merge that with them heading out to Hambry. And then the second part is where shit gets really heavy and the big coffin killers show up and he starts his little Romeo-Juliet affair of craziness, and you have all those other aspects. And then there's actually a very cool adventure in The Wind Through the Keyhole where they go after it's obviously Roland, but and Elaine. I should remember this. Long story short, they go after a skin walker, kind of like transformer guy, as I think I've told you before. It's basically a man who can transform into any animal, and he's going around killing people, slicing heads off. It's one of the most grisly Stephen King Dark Tower stories that we've seen. So there is a lot of realm to just kind of go after. I'm hoping it goes to series, though. That's my biggest frustration and concern, is that maybe, who knows, if it doesn't get voted in, as Amazon Prime goes with their shit, it won't happen. But
let's move on to the next story for you.
I know you have some interest in the third story, because I have not read any of the comic books after the Buffy series. Stopped on the CW.
I read season 9 and season 10.
Okay, so
I have not read season 11.
Okay.
Yes. So basically what they did, you guys, Buffy ended in season, I think 8 or 7. 7. Yeah, season. Oh, so I read 8, 9, and 10. Yeah. So Buffy ended with season 7, and then they actually ended up continuing Buffy in the comic books. So they did season 8, then season 9, then season 10, and then 11, and now we're up to 12, right?
This one goes to 11? No, it goes to 12, guys.
Yeah.
It's proven viable for Dark Horse, and which is good for them. Obviously, they've also done Angel Comics, they've done Spike Comics, all kinds of other stuff.
Absolutely. And well, they did that across, because the Buffy series proper has been Dark Horse. Mm-hmm. But Angel was done at IDW.
Was it really?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's good to know. Interesting.
So it's different and it's interesting, but apparently this piece of artwork that I just put up is the only piece of artwork for the new season. Apparently Buffy now has a kid or something. I'm 2 seasons behind, so I don't know. But I loved it. I mean, they really did continue the show. And the nice thing about it going to comic form was that they were able to do whatever they wanted. Like, they had this big epic fantasy thing that involved Dawn changing into like a giant at one point. She was like Giant Dawn, and then Xander like had his own stories. Dong. Like there was a lot of really cool stuff. You need to stop that, because this is a trend we need to not have continue on our channel, the dong bullshit. But anyway, Joss is returning to the Buffy franchise with the comics. Cool.
Yeah.
So now, is he writing the whole season?
He is writing the first story arc. We have
first
no confirmation.
6 whopping issues.
Yeah, well, who knows? But he can stick on. I mean, didn't he stick on as like a co-writer for some of the other seasons?
Yeah, well, whatever.
Well, June 20th is where you guys can get your first taste of season 12, The Reckoning of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, in the comic book form. And I know we've meandered around that first story, so maybe we should speed through the next one. Story 4 is one that I'm not sure a lot of people will necessarily know about. Have you guys ever watched Comic Book Men on AMC? It usually follows The Walking Dead. I'm sure there's a new season, mid-season premiere. Do they have a O'Halloran on there too?
They're starting season 7. Or no, they're midway through season 7 right now.
Damn.
They've been going for 7 years because they've been going concurrently with The Walking Dead.
Yeah, and so Kevin pops up in there from time to time? Or?
No, he's on every episode.
Really?
Because they shoot wraparounds for every episode at a studio.
I've never
so
watched,
he's like,
I've never watched the show.
All right, guys, what happened in the comic book shop today? And then they'll be like, well, here's what happened. And then they'll cut to the footage of it. And so he's just in the studio with them. So he flies down a couple of times per season to film the wraparounds after they film the episodes and they know what the content is. So they can be like, well, this is what happened. And this is what, and Kevin's like, oh, really? Like, that's pretty much how it happens.
Yeah, tell him, Steve, Dave. You know?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it happens.
Yeah, because it's those two clowns from Clerks, or excuse me, from Mallrats, who we love so much.
It's not only...
Well, I know there's other people, but it's Brian Johnson and... what's the other? Walt Flanagan.
Exactly, but here's the thing that some people don't know. So obviously Kevin Smith, right in the middle there, he is the one that created Clerks and Comic Book Men and Chasing Amy and Mallrats and all that stuff. But what people don't realize is that all of the, these two guys were also in Clerks in varying reasons, but
how different does Brian Johnson look now?
Clerks,
so funny.
Dante and Randall were essentially... Dante was Kevin because he worked at the store, and Randall was Brian Johnson.
Yeah, he said that.
He said numerous times that Randall was based on Brian Johnson, and then Walt right here is the one that sort of fed them both, and made they were all super close friends. Now Brian Johnson made a movie called Vulgar.
Yep, which is what we're here to talk about right now because he has discussed a sequel for this crazy black and white film that starred Brian O'Halloran from Clerks. He was basically a clown that got... It's very dark, dude. He was like raped.
He was raped. Yeah,
he was assaulted, and he's basically trying to pick his life back up afterwards. And I've had so many friends, myself included, and ironically, both were black and white. When I watched Drawing Flies and when I watched Vulgar, I was like, how does this fit into the View Askew universe? This is weird and messed up and strange, and I didn't get it. But as I got older and I rewatched, I enjoyed Vulgar especially, though, because it was very bold and messed up in its vision. And I thought O'Halloran gave a very good performance, personally.
Never watched it myself.
You haven't seen it? Okay.
No, I know. As big of a K. Smith fan as I am, but he didn't have to do with it. That's why I didn't watch it. So.
Well, it was a View Askew production, but yeah, he didn't have anything in the writing and, department beyond that. But I have to say, I know that. Are you a little bit more familiar with Brian's comic book output, which entailed Carney, which entailed War of the Undead?
I have Carney, I have War of the Undead, and I have Cryptozoic Man's first issue. I was not a fan of Cryptozoic Man. Cryptozoic Man is basically... What if there was one guy that was an amalgamation of all of the cryptids? So he's part Bigfoot, part he's got a snake arm. Hang on, let me see if I can pull up a picture of the Cryptozoic Man.
And he becomes a hero of sorts based on that, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So you haven't heard of Cryptozoic Man?
Not until this review, no.
Really?
I read a lot of comics, man. Yeah.
Well, that's your fault.
Obviously.
Do you like? Do you like these guys?
Oh, I do. I appreciate the hell out of these guys, and I like the fact that the artwork is awesome. I know I know Walt Flanagan does the artwork for all of this different stuff, and I love the send-up aspect of it, which looks very cool to me. I just haven't read any of it, man, is the problem. I read, the Walt Flanagan stuff that I read was where he collaborated with K. Smith. I think it was called the Widening Gyre.
Widening Gyre, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, he did Widening Gyre,
and then there was another one,
and then he did Cacophony.
Yeah,
and
they never finished that story.
They finished Cacophony, but they have a third story in the trilogy called Bellicosity, which has been in production for a long time because they started it before DC relaunched into the New 52, and then Dan DiDio and the leaders of DC said, well, we're on to the New 52. You guys are essentially going to be the last story from the old DC universe, and so they were going to go buck wild with stuff, but they took so long because of Comic Book Men that now it's been in limbo for many years.
It's probably not happening because I remember Talia was in that comic and so many other things, and so
this is the Cryptozoic Man right here. He's a little bit of everything. He's a little bit Jersey Devil, a little bit Bigfoot, a little bit Loch Ness Monster,
I
guess.
It's kind of cool, man. I mean, he looks, and especially with like the Tales from the Crypt type writing and color scheme that they have going there. Yeah.
I'm not being distracted by the comments, but I keep seeing nice things like Cecil, you demand, and I really appreciate that stuff right now, you guys. Thank you very much. Okay, Fuego, what's next? Let's move right along and not get distractimacated.
Yeah. The next one is actually a much shorter story because of the sheer fact that Lionsgate has announced its digital service and just some of the things that are going to be coming with it at all times. It's funny because CBS is doing a digital streaming. So many of these other, whether they're a film studio, whether they're a television studio, they're going streaming, man. And
they're going streaming. Sounds like they're going fishing.
We're going streaming! Honey, is Taco Bell still open, or KFC, or whatever the hell he said?
I'm going to get a fucking nachos from Birdo's after this news. I'll tell you that much right now.
But they're calling it Studio L, and basically Studio L is the digital branch of Lionsgate at this point. In the spring, they are releasing 3 features, and they also have plans for digital content in a Deadline report, which just hit this week. Apparently, one of those digital expansions of content, and we don't know if it's going to be shorts, series, whatever, Blair Witch. Do we need more Blair Witch? I think that you and I both enjoyed the Wingard remake.
The 2016 Blair Witch was awesome.
Rebequel, as we would probably properly pronounce it. Yeah, that was the themes that
I really enjoyed that movie. I still haven't watched it since the theater, but I did buy it. I do have it.
You bought that.
I have the Blu-ray over there.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed it so much. I'm like,
I thought it was better than the other two movies.
It was absolutely the best Blair Witch yet, and I was like, they finally made the shit like they delivered. They didn't just give me a dude facing a corner at the end. Like they fucking made it scary. So I'm about a Blair Witch series. I'm fine with that. I'm happy with that. I'm like, stay golden, pony boy, about that shit. By the way, I'm going to lower this a little bit. I'm going to make my angle a little. Oh, you were going to say just now? You were going to say?
No, I was going to say. I agree with you.
Oh, too low. We're too low, guys. Abort. All right.
We're going striking.
We're going streaming.
I'm moving.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, we're not going to really delve on. And I'm moving. So, this is one that I'm actually quite excited about as well. I love the Wingard film, and I think it could be with the proper people behind it, obviously. There's a lot of lore with the whole, Blair Witch series and stuff like that. Hate me all you want. I like Book of Shadows. It's not...
I like Book of Shadows, too.
It's not bad, but I think it's better than the original movie.
On the rewatch for our review, I dug it. Yeah. I dug it. I liked it better than I ever had before.
It's got a killer soundtrack too, man. So, that's about where we're at on that. Unfortunately, there's not like a lot of details about this aside from the fact that it showed up very similar to showed up very similar to the Dark Tower in a press release that gave no clarification. So, as he jumps on to our next story. This is one I'm very excited about.
Did you really like this first season that much?
I did.
Okay.
You didn't, obviously.
No, I liked it. You know what?
I wouldn't say I loved it, but I
didn't love it, but I did enjoy what they were doing. I liked the suburban comedy of it. That's what I liked. I liked, actually, what's his name? Josh. Is that Josh Duhamel? No. What's his name?
It's the dude from...
it's the other one. I get them confused all the time.
It was a dude. It was a dude from Scream 2, Justified.
It's Timothy Olyphantastic.
Yes, Olyphantastic.
Of course, Timothy Olyphantastic.
He's awesome, dude.
They do. I do get them confused a lot.
The Girl Next Door.
Olyphantastic and the one I just said.
Yeah, Josh
Duhamel.
Whatever. The guy who's married to Fergie, as they say. But dude. I had a lot of fun. Yeah, that was a great.
It was appropriately gory. That's what I liked about the Netflix
anthem,
series.
Right?
Fergalicious. I don't know the words to this song. She knew the words, but she just made it like
she did this
super
sultry,
sexy.
Stoopy, and it was so dumb.
Nothing I want to think about more is sex than when I'm saluting our flag. Yeah.
And the look on the guy from Golden State on Green's face, he was just like, what?
All right, so I liked how gory this show was. This show was surprisingly gory and surprisingly satisfying as a horror fan.
It was fun. I enjoyed it a lot. I actually had a lot of fun with this. Everybody knows that I love where you fuse gory comedy with comedic and black comedic aspects in this instance. And so, I wouldn't say it was a home run, but it was like a solid debut from the team behind Santa Clarita Diet, and I'm very excited for a second season.
It's weird that we had to wait so long before we got notification that they extended this. Because this came out.
No, they said there was a second season in the.
Oh, they did.
Like
okay.
Like almost a year ago.
So what is this? What are we talking about then?
They finally announced
that
there's like, you know how Netflix.
Like, Fuego, why are you wasting my time right now?
You know how Netflix loves to wait until like right before.
Yeah, that's right.
Sometimes the same day. If we're
like,
talking
here, we're dropping our Santa Clarita dick out. Oh, by the way, Cloverfield's already out. Oh,
same day. No, Netflix is notorious for giving people like a month or so notice for their new programs, and with Cloverfield Paradox, based on that acquisition, that was a weird marketing tool where they're like,
now what's going to happen?
Guys, it's coming out tonight.
Are they going to get the next one? Is the next one through Netflix as well?
Which one? Santa Clarita?
No, you said no. The next Cloverfield did we say that was going to be a theatrical?
We talked about that last week. It's supposed to be a theatrical.
Okay, sorry. Let's not get sidetracked then.
Yeah, no, we're good. But I just think it's funny their tactics, but I more so than anything else, I'm glad that the entire core cast is returning. I love the girl who played their daughter. I thought she was funny, quirky. The relationship that she had with the neighboring boy was really cool and fun and very very millennial, but to the level where I can just find amusement in it and see the chemistry that the two actors obviously had. And I loved Ola Fantastic with Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore, man. I love seeing her in this role. I really do. I think it's fun. I think it's silly and stupid, but I love that kind of fusion of goof-tasticness with horror a lot of the time. So, hey, March 23rd, man, we're going to hopefully be, unless they hit us with copyright stuff like they did on the last one.
Who knows?
Dude, they destroyed us on the last one, didn't they?
Yeah, they hit us with a strike,
Yeah.
Without warning, too.
Yeah.
All right, what's next, Fuego?
We've been up for a while. So the next one is also more scant news, and this is like almost like lightning round, guys. So thank you for bearing with us. But Jordan Peele, everybody was trying to give him different projects. There was some rumor that he was going to be, for his next project, adapting Akira, which is one of my favorite anime films of all time. He turned it down. There was word that he was going to immediately get started on Get Out 2. There was a few other things, but he has apparently decided to not go for a well-known property and not sequelize his film, at least right off the bat. He confirmed for THR when he was doing an interview just this past week that his new film, he's sticking with Universal. He signed an exclusive first-look deal with them. So he's still with Universal, just like he was with Get Out, but he has a new genre-centric written and directed film that he is about to start filming sometime this summer, and they did not confirm if it's going to come out this fall, winter, or next year or whatever. But yeah, basically Jordan Peele's second film. As much as you guys loved Get Out, it's the second effort from the Get Out director. You're laughing at me. The second effort from the Get Out director is coming next year, probably, I would say.
Yay!
So, yeah, I know.
I'm excited about that. I don't care what he does. I'll watch it.
Well, there you go. That's a lot to impart and say.
Yep, pretty much.
So are you of the familiar thinking and the similar thinking that we've discussed that as much as we'd love to Get Out, it's not quite at the top of the list as before? I know it's a controversial thing to admit, maybe based on.
I still think it deserves. If all horror movies were nominated for all these categories, I still think it deserves best directing. Yeah. Probably best cinematography, probably best original screenplay. So I think it does deserve a lot of what it's nominated for.
Well, best picture is the only one that I'm not for. But
that I'm not sure
about. Love the performance from, is it Daniel Kaluuya?
Kaluuya,
I'm going to say, man, that kid, I have loved him since I saw him on Black Mirror. And holy shit, that is a very sad and depressing episode of Black Mirror. He performed the hell out of what he did. And, just amazing,
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
I would look forward to whatever he's doing next, quite honestly. So I'm not really too skeptical about that. But moving right along.
No skepticism for the Peeler. The next one is going to be more throwaway discussion because of the fact that both of these are going to the Sci-Fi Channel. And I don't know. They have their audience. They really do. I'm one of those people that did not like the original Lake Placid film. Despite Betty White, despite Oliver Platt, despite all those people, I was not a fan of that movie. But Lake Placid Deep Blue Sea came out the exact same year, and I was much more so a fan of that film. But long story short, we have the new Lake Placid film, which is called Lake Placid Legacy, which has apparently already been filmed, and then Sharknado 6. They have both been dated for this year, 2018.
The last Lake Placid we got from the Sci-Fi channel was Lake Placid versus Anaconda, and it was fucking horrible. The last 2 entries, Lake Placid, the final chapter, was fucking horrible. 3 was fucking horrible. The first 2 movies were okay. The first movie was great. The second movie was just okay. After that, it was like one of the sharpest declines in horror movies as far as sequelization goes. And Anaconda was not much better. Like, I liked the first 2, and then after that they decided, fuck it, we don't need to pay for practical snakes, let's just do all CG. And it's just garbage from there on out.
Well, I feel like that happens with so many other franchises beyond this one, man. I mean, we could look at Children of the Corn, we could look at The Mangler or whatever, Stephen King or any other, direct-to-video series that tries to continue itself after a decent showing in the theaters, and then it's all going VOD or, back in the day for us, direct-to-video. And so, yeah, I don't know. Lake Placid Legacy, you have that to look forward to. Although, the one that amused me because it sounded so ridiculous and so stupid was the Sharknado 6 synopsis.
Oh boy, what is that?
It's apparently going to employ...
I didn't even watch the last one, so...
It's apparently going to employ time travel. For the first time.
No.
So we're talking sharks and Ark of the Covenant and Nazis and all this craziness, man. And it's got the guy from 90210 coming back. That one,
Ian Ziering is going back in time to fight sharks in different times. Oh my god! Why do I want to watch that?
There's apparently some sort of concept called the Sharknados that was introduced in one of these films.
Damn, that's brutal. Brutalissimo.
Yeah. Terrible, man.
All right,
but I just have to say, if you guys actually want to see this film, it debuts on where is it in my notes? July 25th during Shark Week. So there you go.
Sneak peek from the producer Dave. Yeah, he already came in. You missed it. All right, so moving right along, Fuego. Yeah. Let's get to the end here because we have been going for a while already.
I'm sure the viewers are ready for us to be done too.
They're like, Jesus Christ. They're not even looking at the comments and they're taking forever.
Yes.
All right.
And there was a lot of stuff that I omitted, including the fact that Jurassic World 3 already has a release date in 2021. The fact that Robert Rodriguez is working on a new sci-fi project. So there's lots of stuff that we had to, combine and so on. But for the final story, peepers... They have been trying... Yeah. Jeepers. Peepers.
For the final story, Peepers.
Yes, for the final stories. Amigos, is that better?
Yeah, because Peepers, Mr. Peepers was the Chris Kattan ape character on SNL that would, eat the fucking apple. He was Mr. Peepers.
Was that Mr. Peepers?
Yeah, that was Mr. Peepers.
I always think of Mango where he's like... Mango.
Oh no, that is Mango, but they
Mango,
call
I'm
him,
in love with you.
They call him Mr. Peepers.
I thought those were 2 different characters though, because Mango was the male stripper.
Oh, that's right.
Like
Mango
Alec Baldwin
was
like
Mr. Peepers was the ape character.
All the men were in love with Mango. I still remember the Alec Baldwin one where he was just like, Mango, I love you. Will you please run away with me?
Oh shit, we triggered Teddy Holiday. I was hoping we wouldn't trigger Teddy Holiday. Is it Holiday? Holiday? Holiday, yeah, Teddy Holiday.
That shit. Every time I see that shit, I love it. It makes me laugh so hard. But so, has anybody seen The Bogus Journey of Bill and Ted?
I did not know that Bill and Ted 3 had a name, and I actually like the name.
Dude, it has a name, it has a director attached. They're just trying to get funding.
It's fucking perfect. So what's the deal? Are they really supposed to just go right back to death again? Like, I love that William Sadler is returning his death because it's called what?
It's called Bill and Ted Face the Music.
It's so fucking perfect for a Bill and Ted movie. Wild Stallion! Wait, what? We're dead? What? No, I am so excited about this. To see Keanu return to fucking... He's Ted, right? Yeah, he's Ted Theodore Logan. Not Bill S. Preston Esquire.
There you go. You remember the names.
Of course I do. But yeah, no, I'm super excited about this. And Death, I love that. He's like, best 2 out of 3. And they're like, best of 7. Damn right! Like, I love that shit.
And he reprised that character on Tales from the Crypt, like right around the same time, and he was doing a game with the Crypt Keeper.
Wait, really?
Yeah, dude.
He was Death on Tales from the Crypt?
On Tales from the Crypt.
What?
Yes. And then he went on to star in Demon Knight. Remember?
I love Demon Knight.
He was the hero.
Dude, Demon Knight is the best Tales from the Crypt episode ever.
William Sadler is awesome. He was also in the first broadcast episode of Tales from the Crypt. Remember,
wait, so he played this version of Death?
That's him. That's William Sadler.
I know, but he played this on Tales from the Crypt? Yeah. This character?
Not in an episode. He was in the wraparound stuff.
I know, but I mean, it was this version of Death.
That version of Death.
That is so fucking cool.
He was playing a card game.
Did he have the weird accent and everything?
Everything, dude. He was playing the same character.
That's awesome.
And then he ended up in, like, it was down to just his head by the end of the episode because he was playing a betting game with the Crypt Keeper. It was great, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Sadler is awesome, man. Sadler is awesome, and I really, really think if this ends up getting made, because that's the biggest thing that the writer of the original 2 films and this one, excuse me, thank you, News with Burps. He was basically saying that the toughest thing that they have found with trying to find financing for this film is that everybody wants a Bill and Ted reboot. They don't want a sequel.
Fuck
they want
you.
A Bill
Why would they not want a sequel?
Look at the Hollywood mentality, man. This makes sense. They want a Bill and Ted reboot. Young character, someone young, hot, blah 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 characters, whatever. But
Bill and Ted were such a product of their time, though.
Big time.
Like why? Like what?
Bill
and Ted wouldn't work. Just like Beavis and Butthead wouldn't work nowadays because there aren't those guys. I mean, there are, but we don't have an MTV. Like, you know, it's not the same anymore.
They just brought back TRL, but it's all like hip hop and pop, which I guess was the predominance of it anyway. But you raise a good point where I don't think unless you put it in the hands of like the guys behind like Deathgasm or something, I really don't think a Bill and Ted reboot would work in any capacity.
I don't want to see a reboot.
Comedic, violent, whatever. I want to see this. Bill and Ted Face the Music, the fact that there is a full script together, the fact that they have the Galaxy Quest director attached, the fact that that guy was very in tune to the meta and slightly cynical poke fun at the history of the property, but yet still make it its own nature. I think this could be an amazing film, especially dude, Will Sadler tweeted at the writer and he was like, I am so down to come back to that. So there's nothing official beyond that, but yeah, the fact
that's still exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So, would you guys like to see a third Bill and Ted film?
Cecil and Jaime, Bill and Ted 2018. Yeah, I could do Bill gain some weight, but sure, let's do it. You definitely be Ted. You got that cool. Whoa.
What, bro? No, I'm all for this film. I hope Bill and Ted Face the Music actually gets made, and I would love to see Sadler come back. That would be badass.
That would be great. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to cover the actual stories. So now we're going to go ahead and address the comments. We're 42 minutes in, and now we're going to address the comments. This is fucking crazy.
Maybe this doesn't work so well.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, Jesus. But there was a lot to talk about today, as you said. And we still cut 3 stories.
We did.
34 people watching right now.
I know. We got a lot of people watching. I love it. So, Jerks Productions is here. What up, Brandon? Rubber Soul is here. Good to see ya. Rubber Soul back in the fold.
Rob, we miss you, homie.
Dodson43, Ian Ripash is here. We have Matt Reyes, Reanimator. Tracy, what up, Tracy?
Yeah.
She's here from the Scream Radio. Love that. Nice. Late Horror Show. Dino made it. Better late than never. Ben Grimm is here.
Yes.
Let's
Reyes,
see.
Yep.
Edward D. Edward D.
E.D. Rogue
Reaper. Survivor 2002. Hey, Samuel, thank you very much for your package. I hope you saw that we aired that. Teddy Holiday, here's the thing. Jessica Chastain can pull off a kick-ass, strong, silent type, but that's not really what I think of when I think of Bev. Wait, Bev, like Beverly Hills, 90210. Triggered! Teddy is one of my favorites.
He's one of the best.
Teddy is one of my new favorites. Absolutely, he's new to but every time he finds a new reason to get triggered.
I'm still wearing those ripped up jeans, Teddy.
Dude, he makes me fucking laugh every time he gets triggered. It's great. I don't even care if he makes up reasons now. It's just hilarious. It's awesome. Kevin Ketchy is here. We got Chase from OCD Horror is here.
Yes, please subscribe to OCD Horror, man. Chase has some awesome perspectives.
Old Fart 62 is here. God, glad to see everyone. Glad to see everyone.
Lots of the familiar faces, man.
All right, guys. Ashley October, of course, she's here. Thank you very much, Ashley. She was checking in on us. Hey, you guys doing your thing tonight? Really good. Yep. Sassy Southern Gamer, Melissa. Sorry we didn't talk about video games tonight, Melissa. I know how much you like them. But we appreciate you watching anyway. You rock.
Well, and also shout out to Ashley October if she's still watching, because of the fact that she tweeted me the other day and was like, I finally finished reading it, and it was like the most amazing journey. So I have to tell all of you peeps that I have urged to read it. If you have the dedication, man, it takes a lot of dedication. You will be rewarded. It's an amazing, amazing
You will
book.
be rewarded.
You will be rewarded.
You will be.
Your soul is mine.
Oh my God, I love that you pulled. Your soul is mine.
Your soul is mine.
We got Mauricio MRO4s here.
That was a $500 pair of sunglasses, asshole.
That was a $500. This is where you fall down.
Yeah. Original
Mortal Kombat rocks the shit, man. I love that movie.
Mortal Kombat movie is so good.
Wet Paint Pictures. I need to send you a Voorhees shirt. Fuck yeah, dude. Dude, the whole show. I don't think Cody's still here, but if he is, we'll absolutely sign it and send it back. And we need to send you a horror show shirt or a Coexist shirt. Probably, we got a Coexist shirt we can send you.
Coexist. All
right, guys. Yeah, we're gonna get way back in the comments here, but thank you guys very much for watching and bearing with us.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you guys that are still around.
Yeah. This was
what do you prefer?
Yeah.
You tell us.
This was our big inquiry.
Here's the thing. We have viewers that request us to do it not live. We have viewers that request us to do it live. We have viewers that are okay with the booze. We have viewers that prefer us without the booze. We want to know.
We've done all of these.
Yeah, what do you want to see? We used to have no stories on the side. Do you want the stories on the side? Like, what do you want to see?
Do you want the chat in the
middle?
Tell
us.
Do you want...
Questions are, do you want a live News with Booze? If you do want a live News with Booze, do you prefer it this way, where we do all the stories before addressing the comments? Or do you prefer us to address the comments every story? Do you prefer that there are no stories? Do you prefer that we don't do it live? Do you prefer pictures? Do you prefer the comments? Do you prefer not the pictures? Do you prefer not the comments?
Do you prefer us back at the desk like we used to be?
Yeah. Do you want us to change locations? Is this okay for you?
Do you want us to weekend update that shit? Like
Let us know, guys. We want to make sure that we're doing what you guys want us to do, and we've done so many iterations of the News with Booze or news at this point.
Since we were with Kings of Horror for this program.
Absolutely.
Which is where it originated. So.
No, we did a couple before we went to Kings of Horror, and I told them that we did the News with Booze, and that's what they wanted the most. We had done a few, because remember we did it at the corner, in the room where it was at the corner behind us. We did the News with Booze there a few times.
Yes, we did.
So yeah, guys, we've been doing this a long time. We've done so many iterations. We want to know, what do you want to see when it comes to the news?
Tell us what you want, what you really, really want. Go on, tell us what you want, what you really, really want.
I wish I could hate you for that, but I almost joined in. So, all right, guys.
Warning, Spice Girls.
Spice Girls triggered Ree!
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Teddy was going to be like, oh my God.
All right, guys.
Late 90s Ree!
I love that Ree is the fucking triggered sound now. It's amazing. The best. It's amazing. Fucking great. All right. Thank you guys very much for watching the Horror Show News with Booze. You can find... by the way, if we don't do it live, we would record it and present it the following Monday, and it would be the previous week's horror news in review, essentially.
Yeah.
Or we can continue to do it live on Sundays when we do our live stream as well. Yeah. Would you prefer it Monday taped or Sunday live?
Do you like the double down on Sunday of 2 different streaming bits of business from us?
Exactly.
Yeah, because we can change things if need be.
Exactly. So thank you guys very much for watching. Until next week, when we return with the news in one way, shape, or form.
Exactly.
I've been Cecil Laird.
I've been Jaime Fuego.
And remember, stay scared!
We're brothers, we're happy, and we're horror.
We're men in tights.